What's going on, guys? All right, so here's the deal. So if you guys clicked on for commentary on the Armie Hammer controversy, that's not what we will be doing here, so you might as well click off now. Not going to talk about it. However, what I will be doing is I will be talking about Armie Hammer's performance in the film just the same way as I'm going to talk about everybody else's performance in the film. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please click off. I gave you the warning, so there you go. All right, with all that out of the way, let's talk about Death on the Nile. So, Death on the Nile is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express, directed by Kenneth Branaugh. This film also directed by Kenneth Branaugh.
You lie in my face! Lock the doors!
The murderer is here and will stay here.
And in this film, Hercule Poirot, played by Branaugh himself as well, is following Simon Doyle and Lynette Ridgway, played by Armie Hammer and Gal Gadot, to help protect them from their stalker, Jacqueline, who's played by Emma McKay. And for majority of this movie, we are on this boat on the way to the honeymoon on the Nile. About midway through the film, there is a death on the Nile, as the title says, and basically can't give anything away about that, but it's really interesting what goes on from there. So, 3 things you should know about me before we continue this review. Number 1, I am a sucker for the murder mystery, the whodunit, especially when it's written by Agatha Christie, which this book is based on the Agatha Christie novel. Number 2, I am a huge Kenneth Branaugh fan, and I try to check out everything he does. I feel indebted to this man since childhood, and he gave that great performance as Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, so there's that. The third thing is I thought Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express was the most underrated film of that year. So now that you know about me, I feel like it's fair for me to review this film, and you guys can take what I say with a grain of salt because I might be in the minority. We'll see. So I do kind of want to start out with the cast, which is a great ensemble. It also includes Letitia Wright and Russel Brand, who I think are just wonderful, wonderful performers. We're used to seeing Russel Brand play the funny guy, but in this film, he actually did something very different, so I actually thought he was very good in the film. Letitia Wright also gives a couple of standout moments as well. Emma McKay as Jacqueline the Stalker is very good in her role. I thought she did very, very well. She's not a performer I'm actually familiar with, but I thought she served the purpose that she was supposed to serve extremely well. The direction was on point with her. Armie Hammer as Simon is actually giving one of my favorite Armie Hammer performances in this film. I gotta be very honest about this because it's a lot different than a lot of his other performances. Is it anything spectacular? To me, no. I know a lot of people would say Call Me By Your Name is still their favorite Armie Hammer performance. I honestly find that performance to be a little creepy in all the wrong ways, but this performance is actually very good. Now, I won't lie to you, Armie Hammer's character does have a lot to deal with women in this film and sexual tension, and I know that's going to make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, and I get that. So if you think you can't handle that, maybe check out of this movie or don't go see it. I would just say that at least. I also know a lot of critics are definitely going to give this film a bad review because they don't want to deal with the controversy, but I'm going to be very honest here, and I'm telling you, despite the controversy, Armie Hammer is very good in the film. I actually think one of the standouts outside of Kenneth Branaugh as Hercule Poirot, which he's great here again. He always is. He's a wonderful performer, and I think he just understands that character so well. But the other standout I need to talk about is Gal Gadot. It was great to see her play somebody that's not Wonder Woman. It's a character that's very separated from Wonder Woman. It's very different, and I really enjoyed seeing her take on something like this. I think the people that accuse her of being a bad actress are no longer going to do that after seeing this film. Now, they may not be so hot on the movie itself, but they're probably going to look at her performance and say she is one of the standouts. She's actually pretty spectacular, and I would hope if people are being fair, they're going to have no quarrel with her acting ability anymore. I've always thought she was magnificent, but here it just proved it to me even further. Tom Bateman is reprising his role as Book in this film, and he has a lot more to do, and I think that he really shines in this movie as well. He's another standout to me, even above Armie Hammer, who is also magnificent in the movie, and I really find him charming, and I love his character. Let's get back into Kenneth Branaugh as Hercule Poirot. So Kenneth Branaugh, again, like I said, he understands the character so well. He's so good in the role. I really like that he brought a lot more levity to this one, as opposed to the first one, where I've heard people say they thought he should have been funnier because the funny moments that he had were great, and I agree, but they thought he he could have brought more levity, and I kind of understand that after seeing this one. They did up the humor with this, and Kenneth Branaugh brought it, and it didn't come off too silly. It fit the moments that the humor was in, but he also does really well with the dramatic stuff too, which is very key to making this movie work. And he brings intensity when he needs to, but he also knows when to bring it down and make it a little bit more light, if you ask me. So really enjoyed all that. One of my complaints with Murder on the Orient Express, as much as I think that film is criminally underrated, was the fact that the ensemble they had was very underutilized, and I was afraid we were going to run into the same problem here. Fortunately, I must not have been the only one complaining, or Kenneth Branaugh saw that this was a common complaint. Who knows, because he definitely took that to heart if that's the case, and he made his ensemble a lot more useful in this film, and I was really happy to see we got a lot more development for our ensemble characters, and that was so much fun to watch. Even though it's a small role, Annette Bening playing Book's mother in the film is very good too, because we actually understood where she was coming from. She was utilized well, and I really enjoyed all the performances across the board because Kenneth Branaugh gave them time, as opposed to Murder on the Orient Express. I only felt like he gave more screen time to, say, Josh Gad or Daisy Ridley, and the rest of the ensemble was kind of wasted. The problem I had with this movie was the fact that because we got more time with the ensemble developing their characters, we did waste a lot of time on useless plot points in order to do that. There were plot points that seemed kind of useless toward the beginning that I could have cut completely out of the movie, and it did drag the runtime a little bit longer than it needed to be, in my opinion. I felt like the runtime was a lot more tight on the Murder on the Orient Express. So we got something bad for something good. I don't know. I was trying to weigh it out the whole time to see if it was even worth it, you know, because honestly, I was so happy to see this ensemble being utilized, but a little upset that we got a couple useless plot points. I would have liked the story to have moved a little bit quicker during these opening moments with these characters where we're really building them and really developing them. But let me tell you, when the shit hit the fan, I was really invested in the film. The film really became captivating right around there. And those useless moments just kind of got outweighed for me because of all the good. I was kind of glad we got all the time with the characters, so that way we felt the impact when things really started to go down. So I wasn't really blaming the movie too much after that, you know, because I was like, man, if I didn't have the time with the characters that I had, I wouldn't have felt the impact when the drama started happening, the big stuff started happening, and it really started to work for me. It started to move in the right direction, and I could watch the Hercule Poirot universe or whatever all day. I mean, honestly, it's just fun to spend time with him, regardless of what's going on. I do enjoy the vibe and the aesthetic that Branaugh brings to this world and this universe, I guess. It's really fun to be in, regardless. So even though there were some slower paced moments and what I thought were going to be useless scenes, but ended up kind of getting paid off later, I was still kind of enjoying myself in those. The aesthetic, the atmosphere was all very good. Speaking of aesthetic, though, one more complaint I have is there are a couple green screen moments in this movie. I don't know if this was because the pandemic or Disney buying out Fox or what it may have been that were just bafflingly bad. It's only a couple moments, but you could just really tell the green screen is there, and it's very laughably bad. So another complaint I definitely had about the movie. The second half of this movie just soars, though, in my opinion. I mean, this movie is a talkie, much like the Murder on the Orient Express, but I'm somebody who believes that we should have more of those very dialogue heavy type long drawn out scenes in movies, but that's me. I like that kind of stuff, especially in a murder mystery, but for me it soars and it really gets you invested. And there's a couple moments that are very shocking by the time we get to the third act that had the audience reacting like crazy. The twists and turns are very on point. It's very fun to see. I love when we get down to the process of Hercule Poirot working it all out. He is amazing as a character, and when you get to watch his process and his brain kind of all come out, it just plays so well. To me, I know a lot of people are just going to look at it as like an exposition dump, but because it is written so well for the character and it is so captivating, I did not mind this at all. Like, I just definitely had a great time watching Hercule Poirot do his detective work. The events that happen at the end of this film, and if you've read the book, you know what it is, but honestly, it's going to shock the hell out of people. It's so captivating to watch, and it's so incredible, and the twists did not disappoint. I mean, I'm telling you, the twists and turns, I should say, I mean, there's many. They don't disappoint. You guys are probably going to have a good time with that. If you like the murder mystery genre or the whodunit genre, which again I am a sucker for, I enjoyed it all. I thought that stuff was so captivating and so emotionally good and dramatic and just done in a really great way. I did feel like the musical score stood out a little bit more in the Murder on the Orient Express, but this movie did require a lot more silent moments just to make the story work, in my opinion, so I wasn't really judging it. But if you guys wanted that score back that really helped that first movie, you're probably not going to get it as much, but it's still kind of the same score coming back into it when it is there. It's just not as present, but I thought it was necessary to get those really captivating silent moments. The way that silence is utilized in moments in this movie were just amazing to me, so like that a lot. Outside of the 2 laughably bad, maybe even 3 laughably bad green screen moments that I just could not get past, I was laughing at them. The cinematography and the visuals are actually pretty astounding. Not nearly as good as the snow over the train on Murder on the Orient Express and all that, because that stuff is just so freaking gorgeous, but it is really nice looking cinematography. I mean, there are shots on the water that are just beautiful and just awesome to look at, so very, very great stuff there. I was just really enjoying that. One of the things this movie did in its opening that I really appreciated is we do end up getting more backstory for the Hercule Poirot character, and I thought that that really helped the movie a lot. You kind of understood where he was coming from in certain aspects of solving the case. It kind of teased it a little bit too in the Murder on the Orient Express, but now we're really getting it fleshed out in the beginning, and I thought that that really helped the franchise move forward. It made the universe expand a little bit, and this movie does make efforts to make it feel like it has a different structure than the Murder on the Orient Express film. That's another thing I appreciated throughout, is it just didn't do the Murder on the Orient Express but the Death on the Nile version, right? It was different. It made efforts to be different in structure, sometimes even in tone. So like that a lot. Sound design, sound mixing, it's all here. I mean, it works very, very well in the movie. They got really creative with it this time around, and I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought that all worked very, very well. So at the end of the day, I had a great time with Death on the Nile. If you guys can get past the Armie Hammer controversy, and if you're also a sucker like me for the murder mystery whodunit genre, please go out and see this movie. I really want it to do well. I know it has a lot kind of riding on it right now. I know that Disney is kind of trying to bury this thing or release it quietly or whatever, but honestly, if you can get past the things that might make you uncomfortable, I do recommend going out to see it. I want this to do well because honestly, somebody like me can watch 8 more of these things, and I hope that they do get made. I hope he continues this franchise. I hope Kenneth Branaugh gets to see his vision played out all the way through. There are a lot of Poirot books. He has a lot of source material to go off of and a lot of great stories to make into film. So I hope you guys do go check it out. I'm very passionate about this review and giving this a good review because I actually had an excellent time with this movie. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I actually thought Disney would have cut around a lot of things, you know, to try to cover up certain things. And honestly, I think we got the version that Branaugh would have been proud of for the most part. So it turned out to be a pretty good time. I think it's almost on par with Murder on the Orient Express. I can't really decide between the two which one I like better at this point. They both have their ups and downs, but their highs almost outweigh their bads, so they're really on par with one another, and I really had a great time with this film. Can't wait to watch it again. I do think it is going to play better upon a second watch, only because once you find out everything in the mystery of it, you're going to try to pick up on those Easter eggs the second time around. So I think this one might play better second time around than the Murder on the Orient Express did, in my opinion, just because there's so much to look out for the second time around. So I'm very excited to give this one another watch. Guys, honestly, again, if you can get past the controversy and you're a sucker for the whodunit murder mystery stuff, and you're an Agatha Christie fan, Kenneth Branaugh fan, if you like the first one, this is a must go. Please go check this out. I want this to do well. I really do, because I want to see, again, like at least 8 more of these. I can watch these all day. These are so much fun. Guys, I have been Dom Martino. Thank you so much for checking out the channel and checking out this video. Please, if you could, hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. This is the first 2022 released film I'd seen all year, and it was great. Turned out very well, so can't wait to go see more and bring reviews to you guys in the future. Once again, I've been Dom Martino. Thank you for checking out the channel, and we'll see you guys later.